Hi, and welcome to 8th grade science. I'm your student science teacher for the year, Megan DiMaggio. A little bit about myself is I graduated from the University of North Georgia with a degree in biology and chemistry, so science is kind of my thing. I actually didn't want to be a teacher at first. I wanted to work with zoo animals and lions and tigers and bears, oh my, and wanted to be an exotic veterinarian. Along that path, I started working with children about the fun of science and the science of veterinary medicine, and I realized that teaching is really where my passion lies. So I started on the path of education, and I haven't looked back since. This is my 10th year teaching 8th grade science. Really like the 8th grade. I feel like I really connect with them, and it's the grade level that I enjoy the most. This is my third year teaching at River Trail. Before here, I was at Autry Mill. I do live in the community, so I live and work right where your students are as well. And I wanted to really do more for the community that I live in and that my children go to school in. I do have two children. Lorelai is a sixth grader here at River Trail, and Landon just started kindergarten at Shake Rag. My husband is an Auburn alumni. I did not go to Auburn, but I am a huge Auburn fan. So football season is about to start up, so we're excited for that. And of course, we always do go adventuring with different animals. So the curriculum is what you want to know this year. Physical science is a combination of physics and chemistry. We start off with our chemistry unit, which we are starting this week, with properties and changes of matter, atoms in the periodic table, elements, compounds, and mixtures. We will then be moving into force and motion, then energy, electromagnetism, and then we will be ending second semester with waves. Most of our curriculum requires your students to use two parts of their brain, more of a chemistry science aspect of the brain, and then there are some math points. So this chemistry or this unit is very difficult, which is why 8th grade science is one of the hardest sciences in middle school. So they will need to make sure they're doing their work and studying a little bit every night because it is a hard subject to learn. The milestones will be next semester and it'll cover all year curriculum. But again, it's not a grade and it does not affect their students' average at all. We will be using Teams for in-class and in case we go virtual. The teams are set up in different channels. Our general channel is the first thing that they see when you open Teams up, and this will hold all of our daily agendas. So if your student is absent, they can look at the agenda and know exactly what we're doing for the day and stay on top of their work. There's also an assignments tab. This assignments tab will be used to put in practice, informatives, and if we are doing something in class that has a hard copy to it, I will also put it in assignments as a digital copy, just in case your student is virtual for the day. They can still do the assignment. The class meeting channel will be used if we ever do go virtual or have a remote day. This is where we will conduct class and I will make a meeting directly in that channel. The weekly lesson plan channel has my lesson plans, so you or your student can go and take a look at what is planned for the week and see when tests or quizzes or projects are going to be due. Our class notebook holds all of my PowerPoints and notes for the year. As we complete the PowerPoint, I put in our class notebook for students to go back and review, so they'll always have my notes. And then our calendar channel has a Google Calendar that has tentatively our unit plan of where we're going and when our tests are going to be. Now, of course, our test dates could move, but as of right now, that's kind of where they're going to be laid out for. So that way you will always have an idea of what your student is doing and when their tests are. It's also posted in the classroom. We are part of mastery-based learning, which means that we will expect all students to master the content within 80% or above. 80% is mastery. To do that, we are grading in 3 different categories this year. Major, which includes test, projects, and formal reports. Science fairs for my high school classes only, so don't worry about that. Minor is our labs and our quizzes. And then practice is anything that we do in class. Our practice work, our homework, our classwork, and our interactive notebook. Our tests are online. They're in a system called Illuminate, so students will need to be familiar with online testing. We do have several projects that we'll be doing, and we typically do about a lab a week, sometimes more or less depending on the unit, but typically a lab a week. Some are graded, some are not. Some are for exploring, some are for inquiry, and then some are graded. Our practice work is our interactive science notebook. This is a composition notebook where all assignments that we do in class, all notes, all labs are glued into their notebook for safekeeping. This way, they will have a one-stop shop to review and look up any material that they have for a class. We also have an 8th grade science workbook that we'll be using every Wednesday as Workbook Wednesday, but it's also a great tool and an awesome reference to help guide them in the curriculum. I do expect students to be on time, prepared for class, and accountable for all learning. That means doing their best work. I did take notebooks up for the first unit and seeing that they need some work. So I'll be helping them to do their best work and make sure that they do have everything in their notebooks. It would help too if you guys at home could double check to make sure that they do have their notebooks organized in an orderly fashion so that when it does come time for studying, they have everything that they need there. I rarely give homework. Our homework is typically classwork that wasn't finished in class. I always give at least 10 to 15 minutes in class to start and or finish their work. And if they don't finish it, then it is homework. Regardless of the homework that I assign or the classwork they didn't finish, they should be reviewing their science notes for 15 to 20 minutes every single night. This class is very difficult, and the best way that they can prepare for those summative assessments is to study their notes, what they did in class every night so that they don't have to cram the night before. Students often ask me, oh, is this for a grade? All assignments are important, regardless if they're graded or not. All of our assignments prepare them for the summative. I rarely give anything that is considered busy work. Everything that I assign does have a connection to what they'll be seeing later on in their summative. Missing work can be completed until the end of the unit. Until then, it goes in the gradebook as an incomplete and will remain as an incomplete until the end of the unit. Once the unit comes, it will go in as a 0. If students do want a request for a retest, which they only get one per semester, then they will have to have all missing work completed before that they will be allowed to take that. Absences is a new thing this year. No longer are they going to be punishable by missing school. With COVID still running rapid in our town, I really hope that when your student is feeling under the weather, that they stay at home to protect you and your family and to protect me and our classmates. With absences, everything on Teams is there for them. So if they are feeling sick or feeling under the weather, then they can log into Teams and do our assignments asynchronously right along with us. Everything will be posted for them to use, as well as notes, sometimes video lectures for myself, and our assignments, and they can do them while missing school. So therefore, they're not actually missing the curriculum and their content. Students are responsible when they are absent to make up everything that they did miss. So the best way to stay on top of this is to check Teams when they are out. Hopefully I answered all your questions during this presentation, but if you still have questions, then please fill out the form along within your email that will come to me and I can answer any questions that you may have. Throughout the year, the best way to get in touch with me is through email, as we don't have phones and my cell phone does not work in my room. And you can comment or any questions or concerns throughout the year. I do offer help sessions. They can be by appointment, at least one day in advance, or Wednesdays is my appointed time in the morning. I hope you have enjoyed this information for curriculum night. I look forward to working with your students this year, and I hope to have a great year this year in science.